Hello everybody, today we are continuing our path toward Malignant. We are watching Rings, the 2005 short film, not the feature film from, I want to say, 2017. So this takes place between The Ring and The Ring 2. It's included on my DVD copy of The Ring 2. And it's about 17 minutes long. I got some notes, let's talk about it. So the premise of this is that there's at least one, probably more than one, cult built up around the ring and this video, and people make rings where one person watches it, makes a copy, shows it to the next person. They watch it, makes a copy, shows it to the next person. The problem with that is that at some point you're going to run out of people to show it to, right? So that's what happens here. But it turns out that, so we follow the main guy who has nobody to show it to. And at first it seems like the guy that he's supposed to show it to just gets scared, but then we find out that the plan was never to have him show it to this last guy, because this cult, they're trying to figure out how far people can go and what all they see. So there's this big idea of document everything that you see, and as you go further from the time that you watch the tape to the time that the next person watches the tape, you see more and more weird supernatural stuff. So they say nobody's made it past, I don't know if they say nobody's made it past day 7 or nobody's made it to day 7. But nobody in their group, at least, has made it to day 7. So this whole thing was a plan that they're going to get this guy stuck so that he has to go through day 7 and they see what happens past that for their own amusement, because cultists are just such nice people. So that made me wonder, how would this work legally? Right? Now, I understand that the legal system that we have in our world doesn't take supernatural things into account. But if these kinds of things were real, if you showed the tape to someone else, you are, in this case, knowingly putting their life in danger. Is that some level of murder, or at least manslaughter, or endangerment, or something? Don't know. I've never really covered a short film before on this channel. I've mentioned short films, but never really talked in depth about one. Sometimes I really like short films. It can be nice to explore one idea without having to make a whole movie about it. Sometimes my mouth talks faster than my brain can think of words. But in this case, I'm like, I want to see this explored more, right? Because at some point, there's going to be a cop that gets in on the cult, and a judge that gets in on the cult, and lawyers that get in on the cult. And so at some point, it's going to be known about. So are these things going to be addressed, or are they just going to be ignored? And people continue to live life as if it's normal. I talked about in my video for the first Ring film that it doesn't start with a big info dump. We learn stuff gradually. This one does start with a big info dump because it works a little bit differently, or at least it appears to work a little bit differently than it did in The Ring. So they have to catch us up on what's going on in this short film, and because it's a short film, they have to do it very quickly. So we get this big info dump at the beginning, which I don't love. But it's done seemingly naturally because it's this cult explaining everything to this kid. But it seems like they're telling him all of this information after he's already watched the tape. And I'm like, how and why would he agree to watch it before he finds out all this stuff, right? Because he knows the basic premise behind this whole thing, and he's interested in it, and that's why he wants to watch it. And then they tell him all the details, and it's like, well, if he was interested in it, he would know that it was dangerous. Why would he watch it before he knows everything? Are they telling him, like, oh, we're not going to tell you until you watch it, blah, 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 blah? It seems like then he probably wouldn't watch it, but I don't know. It's hard to tell how smart this guy is. But also, for how short this is, quite a bit of it is non-linear, so it could just be that we see him watch the tape first and then we flash back to see something else. That was not very clear to me. But we get the big info dump there. At one point, they say that this thing could be a secret dimension or a whole nother reality. I don't know if that's something that they explore in the further movies. I feel like that has the possibility of getting too complicated, so I hope they don't do that in future movies. And I hope it was just one throwaway line that doesn't come back. And then I wrote down Sharon Carter, because Sharon Carter, Emily Van Camp is in this. And, spoiler alert, she's the poor soul that he finally convinces to unknowingly pass the curse on to. We don't actually see it happen, but she agrees to come over, and then it cuts to the credits. So I don't know if she's in the sequel or not, because apparently these are connected. But I saw her pop up on screen. I was like, who is that? It's Sharon Carter. Okay, so there's this scene where 4 of the people from this cult are in a car. They're all having a conversation. And 2 people are in the front seats looking back, kind of leaning over their chair, and then 2 people are in the back seats looking forward. And you might think to yourself, that seems kind of like an odd place to have a 4-person conversation. Wouldn't a table or some couches make more sense? And I realized there are no headrests on the front seats of this car. Because apparently they really wanted to do this in the car for some reason. But that's very awkward to try to film a 4-person conversation with. So they took the headrests off the car. This doesn't affect the movie at all. It's just really weird to look at. And I'm like, that's probably illegal. I don't know that for sure, but it seems like it should be. It's just kind of a weird thing. And then also during this scene, we do get a jump scare. Even though this thing is only 17 minutes long, it has more jump scares than the original movie did. So I talked about it in my review for my thoughts for the first one, that I appreciated that it didn't do jump scares. This one, not as crafty with its suspense. I guess with 17 minutes, you don't really have enough time to build suspense over time. So maybe they felt it was necessary, but, whatever. And then my last note was, where are his parents? Because he's a high school kid who gets involved with this cult. Parents don't find out. Like, the parents are never seen, mentioned, anything. Like, they should have made this a college-aged kid, and that would have fit better. And since the plot point of him finding someone else to watch the tape works out anyway, I feel like he could have done it on a college campus and he would have had more choices, but you could just, do a quick montage of people being like, no, I'm busy, I'm not watching that, or maybe he starts it and they're like, this is stupid, and he walks away. Like, I don't see why he had to be in high school. And so it's odd that the parents are absent. Now I realize some parents aren't particularly involved with their children's life. It's a sad fact, but it does happen. But if he's going through a full week of seeing supernatural things and experiencing supernatural things, you'd think that they would see him enough over the course of a week that they would notice that something is going on. But I guess maybe not, or maybe they just don't care. I don't know. It's not explained. So maybe when I get to The Ring 2, maybe one of the characters from this is in that, and that's why it had to be in high school, and maybe they were stuck with that. But I feel like this story, contained within itself, would have been a better fit for a college setting. But those are my thoughts on the short film Rings from 2005. Kind of weird to do a video on a short film, but I'm trying to go through all of the Ring properties here, so that's what I got. Those are my thoughts. Feel free to let me know if you have any thoughts. Have you seen this? If you're a fan of The Ring, have you seen this short film? Let me know your thoughts. Those are everything that I have to say. Thank you very much. Again, my mouth goes faster than my brain. Thank you very much for watching, and have a good day. Hey everybody, Sam Tom here. Just wanted to let you know that I have 2 channels. If you're watching my music content, I also have a movie channel where I talk about movies and TV shows. If you're watching my movie content, I have a music channel where I do song covers, instrument demos, things like that. So feel free to check that out. Obviously, like, share, subscribe, comment, all that YouTube stuff. Thank you very much for watching, and have a good day.